In this video, I'll show you how to easily add hand locomotion to your existing scene. Now, if you're trying to add locomotion for controllers, then you should check out this video over here. So here I have my Unity project open. I'm using the version 22.3.13 F1. And this has been set up with the latest Metaxar interaction SDK, which is version 64. This has also been set up with all the player settings. You can also download this starter project from the GitHub link provided in the description below. Now to set up our scene, we need to add the camera rig. Now if you're already using an existing scene, then you can skip to the next part wherein I show you how to add the hand locomotion. However, if you're starting from scratch, then you can add the camera rig using building blocks or using the OVR prefab from the project folder. For this video, I'm going to use the prefab. So in your project folder, search for OVR camera rig. Make sure the search is selected for all. Select the prefab and add it to your scene. Go ahead and delete the main camera as well. And here make sure the transform is set to 0. If not, you can just reset it. Now this camera rig comes with the tracking space which tracks your headset and your left hand, right hand and your controllers, but you cannot see the controllers or hands visually. So to see the hands, we need to search for OVR interaction. Select this prefab, drag and drop it inside the camera rig. And this comes with just the OVR HMT. We also need to add OVR hands prefab to this. Now the OVR hand comes with left hand and right hand. Now both of them have hand visuals, but you'll not be able to see them. That's because we need to add the data source, which is the OVR hand. Now to add that, inside your tracking space, open left hand anchor, right hand anchor. So create an empty game object inside the left hand anchor. Let's call this as hands. Or you can call this as OVR hands as well. And to this, we need to add the OVR hand component and also the OVR skeleton component. Next, select the hand type as left for the left hand, and the skeleton type automatically gets added. It gets set to left hand. Then duplicate this, add it to the right controller. You can rename this. There you go. And this time select the hand type as right hand. Alright, so we have the camera rig. Now let's add an environment. Search for large room inside the project window. Select this prefab and add it to your scene. Next, we can add a skybox as well. So search for skybox gradient. Select this material and add it inside your scene as well. Alright, so with that, we have our scene set up. Next, see how to set up the locomotion. So in your project window, search for locomotion hand interactor group. Open the OVR camera rig, open your left hand and right hand. Select this prefab, drag and drop it inside hand interactors left, drag and drop it inside hand interactors right. Now, if we check this prefab, you can see that it needs a finger feature state provider. Now, the camera rig does not have it right now, so we can add it. You can select the hand features left, hand features right, and add a component called finger feature state provider. Now, here we need to add the finger state threshold. So let's add it to the list. So first finger is going to be the thumb. And we can easily add it by unhiding it and selecting default thumb feature state threshold. And for the rest of the fingers, it is going to be default finger feature state threshold. So we're going to add that, and let's add it for all the fingers. So it's going to be index, middle, ring, and pinky. So all of them are going to have default finger state provider. Only for the thumb, we have default thumb feature state provider. Now if you check the left hand, here you can see that it is selected left hand automatically. And for the right hand, it has selected the right hand. All we need to do is select locomotion hand interactor group, which is under your left hand. Select it, drag and drop it here. Select the right hand and drag and drop this here. Next, this prefab also needs a handler. So for that, we can right click on OVR interaction, create an empty prefab, let's call it as locomotion, and add a component called as player locomotor. This needs a player origin and a player head. So the player origin is going to be the OVR camera rig, and the player's head is going to be the center eye anchor. Then select both of these prefabs, select locomotion, and drag and drop it inside the handler. Now, if we open the prefab and select turn interactor, here you'll see that this needs a transformer. So let's open the right hand as well and select it. So we have selected the turn interactors for both left and right hand. Now the transformer is inside the OVR interaction, so you can select it and drag and drop it in here. Alright, with that we have added the teleportation interactor. Next we need to add the teleportation interactable. For that you can select any plane of your choice. In my case it's going to be the ground, so anywhere on the ground I'd like to teleport. And for this you need to add a component called as teleport interactable. And this needs a surface, so let's add a collider surface. Now the collider surface needs a collider, so if your ground does not have a collider, then go ahead and add that as well. Then drag and drop the collider inside the collider parameter. Drag and drop the collider surface in here and make sure to allow teleport. Alright, so that's it. So now you can save your scene and make sure to connect your headset using Link or AirLink. And then let's press play and test this out. Alright, so here we are in our scene. Now to activate the teleportation ray, we need to make a hand gesture. And for that, it is going to be this gesture. So your 3 fingers are going to be rolled inwards. The index finger is going to point up and the thumb is going to be here. And then you can point at any place that you'd like to teleport. And then once you flick your finger and you release it, you're going to get teleported to that area over here. Now, if you'd like to turn, that is turn left or right, you can use snap turn. And for that, the gesture is going to be something similar like this. So instead of this, you're going to make it like this. And then whichever side you would like to turn, you can point towards that side and click and click. And you see, I'm turning towards my left. And now I can turn towards my right. Now the same thing works with your left hand as well. So I can teleport and at the same time I can turn as well. Cool. Now to visually show the teleportation point, you can select the object on which you have added the teleport interactable and add a component called as radical data teleport. Here make sure that the radical mode is valid target. Save your scene and now if you press play and test it, and you will be able to see valid teleportation point. Let's say after a certain point you reach the end of the plane, you'll no longer have a valid teleportation point. Now what if you want to show the invalid point? Well, you can do that as well by selecting the plane on which you want to show that teleportation is not possible. And for this as well, you need to add the teleport interactable component. Let's add a collider surface. Add a collider. And then reference the collider inside a collider surface and reference collider surface inside the surface of teleport interactable. Here make sure to uncheck allow teleport and once again add the radical data teleport, and here make sure to select the radical mode as invalid targets. And now if you save the scene and test it, you can see that it shows an invalid point or an X mark on the region in which you cannot teleport and a valid point in the place where you can teleport. Alright, so now you know how to set up teleportation for your hands. If something does not work for you, then do let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.